This video is an overview of a collaborative exploration of how visualization informs and unites the worlds of blind and visually impaired people with the full-sighted. The photographs, taken by Karren Visser and Guadalupe Campos, act as research tools, documentation, a means of communicating the findings, and motives for further evaluation. Throughout the next 25 minutes, all the images will be zoomed in and described by their authors. Between each image, there will be a little pause for the appreciation of the photographs. There are two versions of this video, one in English, narrated by Karren Visser, and one in Spanish, with the voice of Guadalupe Campos.
Introduction. My first photograph is titled Light Painting Self-Portrait 1. Light painting photography reminds me of being underwater, where details merge and refract. This feels peaceful and gives the pain I experience from straining to see, like crushed glass rubbed in my eyes, some relief. This was my first self-portrait painted with a small flashlight. Sonia Soberats, my mentor, the blind light painting photographer based in New York, was insistent I use a flashlight with an incandescent bulb so that the light picking up the details and creating the atmosphere is warm and soft. In this photograph in portrait orientation, I am in the center of the frame, from the waist up, facing you, and my head is turned so that my gaze is slightly to your left. I'm in an alcove, what was once a fireplace in my house in Cambridge, England, and the light has created an arch around my head. My pale face is illuminated in a shimmering light, like the ripples sunlight makes on the bottom of a swimming pool. I have a magnifying glass hanging from my neck on a cord, and I am dressed in a dark sweatshirt with a hood. Seeing and the Imagination is a British Council Unlimited funded project. Guadalupe Campos, a blind photographer, and a masseuse from Mexico, and I are responsible for the audio content to include audio description and closed captions. This is a strong element of our project, and one that needs further exploration, so that blind and visually impaired artists describe their own work. This is Maria Guadalupe Campos Cabrera. She has been blind for 11 years and is a masseuse and photographer. This photograph, titled My Patient, is in horizontal format. It is in the reception area of Guadalupe's masseuse's cabin. Guadalupe is wearing her navy blue uniform and she holds her white cane. Her patient, a woman in her early 20s, stands next to her. She is wearing navy blue shorts and a yellow top. Guadalupe's diplomas are framed and on the wall to the viewer's left. Behind the two women is a narrow showcase displaying massage products for sale. This photograph shows harmony and health. Blind people who choose to photograph as a way of expressing their creativity show that being able to see is not a requirement for accessing the imagination. My name is Karren Visser. I have glaucoma and degenerative myopia. The eye specialists have told me to prepare for the possibility of going blind. Such uncertainty, along with periods of sudden sight loss and others where the loss is more gradual, make me feel like I'm swimming in a competition, one where the pool comes and goes, and the depth of the water is constantly changing. Will I have enough sight to maintain my independence? How will I navigate my surroundings? Conversations with Sonia Soberats and Guadalupe Campos, both of whom have no sight, have made me feel less isolated. Sonia's teaching via Zoom came with instruction to place less demand on my eyes and explore more what I feel rather than physically see. Her guidance, full of wisdom, offers training not only in light painting photography, but also a lesson in resilience. In plain sight. In this photograph by Guadalupe Campos, titled My Little Town, there are two people. One is Guadalupe with her white cane. She is aware of the other person crossing casually in front of her. The photograph is in a street near where she lives. In the background is a white wall with a doorway that has a black iron gate. The format is horizontal. This image shows the coincidence of life, since the woman appears just at the moment Guadalupe's camera, on a timer setting, clicks shut. This photograph, titled The Parish by Guadalupe Campos, is in horizontal format, showing the entrance to the San Francisco de Asís church. It is the parish church of the little town where she lives. Guadalupe can visualize what she is wearing, a white blouse patterned with bright colors and jeans. She is holding her white cane. The church decoration in the background provides perfect contrast. While making this photograph, she had a bit of a complication. As she was looking for the sunlight to locate herself, people were watching her, unaware that they were in the way of her photographing herself. Karren Visser. I can recall the feeling that I had when making this photograph, titled Light Painting Self-Portrait 2. It was a mix of confusion and wanting to assert myself. As a severely visually impaired person, I am neither blind nor am I full-sighted. I see in patches if I am looking directly in front of me. What I see is often blurred and frequently either too light or too dark. In this photograph in portrait orientation, I am in the center of the frame, from the waist up in front of a wood-paneled wall. The background is a detail of the grain of the wood in vertical slats. I am wearing a grey figure-hugging long-sleeve t-shirt with a round neck that has streaks from the flashlight as I moved it from my left hand to my right. My head is tilted backward against the wood paneling, and strong shadows emphasize my exposed white neck. A strip of light is across my forehead. It is impossible to remain still while doing light painting self-portraits. My sunglasses look fractured, and this effect contrasts with the detail of my long brown hair, ears, nose, and lips. The look is one of defiance. At least that is what I see. Karren Visser, photograph title, Light Painting Self-Portrait 3. There was a playful element to this project for me, and I wanted to show something serious like deteriorating eyesight in a less serious way. I used to think what I am experiencing with my sight loss is obvious to others. I learned to keep quiet and pretend to see what I cannot, and fill in the missing pieces by guessing what is there. This light painting exploration reminded me of the games I played as a little girl growing up on an isolated farm in South Africa and insisting my mother look under my bed for thieves. We even gave them names, Zazu and Zizi, and decided they lived on a diet of peppermint cream chocolates. In this photograph, in a landscape orientation, I'm under my bed. The wooden bed frame and cream-coloured linen bedding dominate the composition and are at a diagonal from left to right. In the foreground, covering the wood floor, is a Persian rug in dark reds and blues, placed horizontally so that it also goes under the bed. In the background, dimly lit, is a radiator and a Louvre blind pulled down over a window. The light from my flashlight has painted my face, turned sideways, and right hand in blurred and fragmented detail. Part of my right arm looks like it is liquid and has been absorbed into the rug. I want to question the idea that what we see is all that it seems. Sense of belonging. Guadalupe Campos. Freshness is Guadalupe's photograph in horizontal format in which you see a hanging pot with a plant called a ribbon. Guadalupe included herself in the photograph between the stems. Her gaze is directly ahead. She told me that in her imagination she sees fresh colours. Freshness shows that nature is perfect. A blind photographer and a beautiful hanging plant. Karren Visser. Light painting self-portrait 4 was made outside in my courtyard garden late at night when it was quiet. My neighbours were indoors, and I could imagine myself back on the farm of my childhood. I was 5 years old when my parents realised there was something wrong with my eyesight. A giraffe licked my face in a game reserve. I saw its tongue, not the giraffe. Typical of most people with myopia, I see detail, the beautiful intricacies of a leaf, for instance, but I struggle to put my surroundings together in a way that makes complete sense. It takes me a long time to do so. This self-portrait in landscape orientation has me left of centre among bushes with deep green and bronze-coloured leaves. In the background is a fence covered in a creeper and a round clay pot with a plant. I am seated on the stone tiles in an orb of flashlight. My right leg is bent at the knee and against my chest, or so it seems, as this part of my body has retained its outline, but the rest is absorbed by the shrubbery. My left leg is bent and tucked under me. I'm wearing a grey sweatshirt zipped up at the front, dark trousers and trainers. My left hand with fingers splayed and fingertips pressed against a stone tile for support. Some of my clothing and my face are in detail. My eyes are small and shaped like oval leaves. This is accentuated as I look into the distance in contemplation. The state of presence. Mexico is a photograph in horizontal format by Guadalupe Campos, in which two people appear. One is Guadalupe with her white cane, and the other a person who approaches her casually to ask her if she needs help. The flag of Mexico appears behind them. It is the month of September, and there are many symbols with the national colours. This image shows a small stall selling merchandise celebrating the independence of Mexico. Karren Visser, Light Painting Self-Portrait 5, is dedicated to television drama audio description. Flashlight creates a dramatic glow in the dark, and while I was painting myself with light during one practice session, I began to think of television dramas and how audio description tries to make up for what a blind or visually impaired person is unable to see. I started looking at my sitting room rug in detail, imagining it as part of a crime scene. This self-portrait in landscape orientation is of me lying on the rug. I take up most of the frame from left to right. I am wearing a bright red top that stands out against the dull yellow and blue patterned rug. In some places, the flashlight has caused the fabric of my top in arcs of light that make the material look plastic. My long brown hair, with a central parting, spreads out on the rug. My features are in detail, and my eyes are downcast. My appearance is misleading, as my form, the red top, and pink skin tones take up most of the frame, making me look present. Yet my expression is vacant. This photograph by Guadalupe Campos, titled Life and Health with My Hands, shows the room where Guadalupe meets her patients for their massage therapy appointments. It is in horizontal orientation. The white walls can be seen, as well as the linen sheets on the massage table. The image shows how a person with visual impairment can contribute to society. As Guadalupe says, "When my eyes are closed, my hands speak." Karren Visser, Light Painting Self-Portrait 6, was one of the most personal of my imaginings for the British Council Unlimited funded project. It is in vertical orientation. I am emerging from the wall of the narrow stairwell in my house that was built in 1913. Light shines off parts of my naked body like I have a large star exploding from my breasts. My eyes, nose, and cheekbones have been caught in this surreal light. My body is a pale pink reflection on the wall. As my legs are less form and more apparition, it looks like I'm floating up the wooden stairs. The grain of the wood has darker patches where the knots can be seen. While I was light painting self-portraits, my thoughts were on the imminent sale of my house. This was part of a decision to move and be nearer my eye care as my sight deteriorates further. There's a strength conveyed in this image, a quiet confidence perhaps. Some of this is thanks to the conversations I've had with Sonia and Guadalupe. They've shown me by their example that it is utterly possible to remain connected to a visual world. In this project, Guadalupe Campos has made the images with her camera on a tripod and using the camera's timer. She also did her own audio recordings. She says that this helped her to realize that the imagination is not blind. For her, there is a similarity in colors and textures to her light painting photographs, although the technique is different. She expresses her appreciation to British Council Unlimited for continuing with these international inclusion programs. Imagination helped those of us participating to travel with light and time in this beautiful photographic project. Today, others can see how people with visual disabilities can communicate through a photograph and through different techniques, such as light painting photography and using the timer on a camera. She thanks Sonia Soberats and Karren Visser for their support and concludes by saying, "Today I am a moment in the world." Central to this project is the concept that the ability to imagine is common to all humans, yet the visualizations formed remain unique to the individual. Guadalupe Campos and I wish to show that just because we cannot see, or we see in blurred fragments, that we are able to imagine, appreciate our surroundings, and connect with the full-sighted world. An important part of seeing and the imagination is that Guadalupe and I provided the audio description and content for the closed captions. We overcame language and time differences and shared a sense of humour. Thank you, British Council Unlimited, for this opportunity, and we hope that our project may lead to further exploration.
Funded by British Council Unlimited. Thank you to Karren Visser, United Kingdom, visually impaired photographer. Guadalupe Campos, Mexico, blind photographer. Sonia Soberats, United States, blind photographer, for her light painting photography mentoring role. Laboratorio de lo Invisible, Dana Albicker-Mendiola and former blind footballer Jorge Lanzagorta for working on the video creation. Wojciech Wołocznik, United Kingdom, and Daniela Montgomery, Mexico, were patient and supportive way beyond the time that was allocated for their support. Douglas McCullough, United States, curator of the exhibition Sight Unseen, International Photography by Blind Artists, and senior curator of the California Museum of Photography for his constructive criticism. Bruce Hall, United States, blind photographer, whose encouragement is immeasurable. Becky Sexton, United Kingdom, project manager from Multistory, for kindly sharing the British Council Unlimited information. April Lynn, United Kingdom, arts administrator at British Council Unlimited, for their interest and engagement. For information regarding the project, please contact Karren Visser, karrenvisser.com, kmv@karrenvisser.com.